All right. Today I am reviewing the Clone Wars, Season 1, Episode 9, Cloak of Darkness. This is a pretty good episode, I thought. Premise was that after Padme captured Viceroy Gunray in the last episode, Dooku sends his apprentice Ventus to save him. And that's the whole plot, pretty much. It's kind of the opposite of what you would expect, I think, just that, like, most of the time it's the good guys trying to save other good guys, but this time it's the bad guys saving other bad guys, and they are successful, ultimately. But Viceroy Gunray is one of the bad guys with plot armor. This episode was definitely very low on plot and just really high on action and spy stuff going on all over the place. I mean, that's fine. I mean, like, half of Star Wars, I think, is action, along with really good story. Well, it's not always good. Hence the Phantom Menace. And the action was pretty good throughout. I mean, it's still got that weird kind of blocky style to it. That's just the animation, I think. Sometimes the movement, especially when they're fighting, can be a little clunky. And I'm hoping that's something that they fix as the show goes on. But at this point, I'm kind of used to it. I like Ventus in this episode. As they point out, and it was kind of funny because the Emperor even pointed out to Dooku earlier that, like, oh, she's done nothing but fail so far. Why would you want to send her? And he's just like, I have faith in her, basically. And she does finally succeed at something, so that is good. And I think it does kind of point out that, like, the clones, or that the droids really haven't had a lot of wins yet. And this is supposed to be a war. I mean, if they just keep losing, I'm sure people would probably be, why is this war still going on? Shouldn't they have lost by now? And it's like, well, it's just droids. Just keep building droids. I just appreciate that they got a win this time, I guess. The droids. I mean, like I said, it wasn't really big on plot or anything. And so therefore, it's just, if you like the action of Star Wars, you'll enjoy this, especially lightsabers battles. There's quite a few of those. But the plot is, like, very thin. And I do like that this kind of concentrated more on just secondary characters. I mean, none of the, outside of Viceroy Gunray, which is, if you can call him a primary character, just because he has plot armor, I guess, but no one else did, and I appreciate that, even though no one else died. Spoilers. Oh, except one person. One person did die, so there you go. You can figure that out by watching the episode. It was pretty entertaining. It wasn't anything special, just lots of action. Pretty good action, but nothing that had, like, that emotional quality I think a lot of people want from the fights in Star Wars. I mean, like, it's less so in the prequels, of course, but in the original trilogy, I felt like every lightsaber battle, like, had a lot more heart to it, or a lot more depth, I should say. There's a lot more depth to the lightsaber battles in the original. Like, the only lightsaber duel in New Hope, I believe, is just the one between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And I mean, like, there's a lot of weight to that one, especially since Obi-Wan dies. Do you really die if you become a Force Ghost? I don't know. I'd say it was really entertaining, but there wasn't really enough depth to any parts of it, and that's just because there was so little plot to it. It pretty much just set up the conflict of the episode and then just ran with it. Like, there you go, that's all you need. I do like Ahsoka a lot. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Just that, like, there's a few points that I feel like maybe she's kind of being tempted to the dark side. I mean, Anakin is her teacher, but he himself isn't being tempted to the dark side yet. At least not as far as I know. So that'd be strange if that's what's going on. But there's, like, a couple points where she, like, gives into her emotions, and there's even a point when she, like, threatens someone's life, and the Jedi with her is like, Jedis don't do this. And she's like, I'm just kidding. Kidding or not, you're still threatening someone's life. It was just odd things like that just made me wonder if maybe Ahsoka's not everything she claims to be. Either that or she's, like, inadvertently drifting to the dark side, but I guess we'll see. Could just be the writers didn't really think about it, just like, oh, let's have her do this, or whatever. We need the plot to keep moving, so let's have Ahsoka do this. I just thought that was interesting, and I guess we'll see if, like, anything comes from it or not. But yeah, rating wise, I'm thinking just like a 7.5. Pretty good, pretty entertaining because of all the action and stuff, but, like, just so little plot that you could pretty much skip this episode, I think. Just that there's no plot at all. Everyone knew that Viceroy Gunray wasn't going to stay captured because we've seen the next movie, or episode 3, I mean. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10.